I'm a kooky, creative girl who talks way too fast and lives in a one-bedroom apartment on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. The worst thing that happens at night are rats going after stale baguettes. I make dolls out of scotch tape and paper towels and maps of magical fantasy worlds as the playground. I like playing best alone. At home, my parents complain all the time about the apartment, how there's not enough money, how the city is too expensive and we really should move, but we never do. When I'm 14, every part of me starts to hurt. My muscles ache and my joints are stabbing me. My feet balloon up so much that putting weight on them makes me scream. Walking is excruciating, often impossible. I spend freshman year of high school in hospitals, in bed, and on the couch. I'm finally diagnosed with severe juvenile idiopathic arthritis, an autoimmune disorder. After a year of agonizing isolation, I go back to school. I spend my mornings trying to lessen the pain with hot Epsom salt baths and stretches. So maybe, just maybe, I can make it to my last 3 classes. Sometimes just one. My limbs feel like a tangle of crunched up tissues, my joints like knives. When I'm not in school or doing homework, I'm going to doctors, dragging myself through physical therapy, and spending hours with an IV in my arm. My mother is my primary caretaker. She puts on my clothes, lowers me onto the toilet, and rides me to school every day. She stays with me for weeks at Children's Hospital Philadelphia, NYU, and inpatient rehab after. I'm embarrassed for the nurses to help me do things like shower, lift a fork to my mouth, or lift me. So she does it. But she never lets me forget how hard this is for her or how expensive. Even though she lost her job a year before I got sick, she blames me for it. I need to go back to work, she says, as if I don't understand. Who's going to take care of you? She acts like being sick is something I'm doing to her on purpose. It's hard to remember what life was like before my body became her job. Maybe she was always this way, but now that she's taking care of me, it's definitely worse. She screams at me for not walking. She screams at me to stand up. She attacks me when I'm too sick to defend myself, even from my own cells. When I avert my gaze because I'm terrified, she tells me I'm being ungrateful. After my mom screams, I stay still. Tension streams off of her like liquid nitrogen. It's the silence after a bomb. It usually takes me a few days to muster up the courage to apologize. And if I don't, she doesn't speak to me for weeks. She threatens before appointments. You need to stop crying in front of the doctor. He wants to put you on antidepressants. You know, those change your brain chemistry. It infuriates her that I cannot fix myself. One day when I'm resting on the couch, she accuses me of moping. Say, I love my life, she demands. Scared and deflated, I obey. I love my life. I can't hear you. I love my life. Just loud enough that it will make her stop. When I walk outside, it's surprising to hear people talking as if everything is normal. It feels like being teleported out of a war zone. But I need her for everything and for nothing. I have to ask her for help countless times a day, but I know to keep every thought tucked safely inside my skull. The pool 2 blocks from my house is the only place I can still move. My parents wheel me there, change me into my neoprene swim vest, and roll me onto a deck that lowers 4 feet deep into warm turquoise waters. That's where I meet Alicia. She was a Broadway dancer before she got sick. A damn good one, too. She was Victoria in Cats and had loads of adoring fans begging for her autograph. She continued to dance for a year after she got diagnosed with both a rare genetic disorder and autoimmune disease. But she tore all her tendons doing so, the same year I was born. Now she has to wear foam blocks to support her elbows and thick ski pants to keep her muscles warm. The most minuscule movement can injure her more. She has strong, muscly guys who take her to the pool, walk with her on our block, and gingerly lift her in and out of her special reclining wheelchair. Nearly every time I go swimming, Alicia is there and we talk. She is beautiful like a flower with fluffy, shoulder length brown hair, warm brown eyes, and a smile that sparkles. She never, ever raises her voice, except to yell at cab drivers who almost run her over. And although it feels like we're the same age, she's only a few years younger than my mom. We start spending time together outside of our aquatic rendezvous. She invites me on walks around the neighborhood, and when we're feeling especially ambitious, to Central Park. One sunny summer day in August, we're sitting underneath a large oak tree. She's reclining in her wheelchair, and I'm lying on my back on a blanket. I show her ink blots from a kit I got at Urban Outfitters. She says, "All I see is dicks. Maybe it's because I haven't had sex in 20 years." She'll talk to me about anything, and I tell her about everything. What it's like at home. I have no friends at school. How much I despise my sickly teenage self. I'm over at her house often, so I befriend her husband and aides as well. Together, we form a strange ragtag family that is as unconventional as it is full of acceptance and love. When I cry, my mom compares me to Alicia, saying I too cannot afford a negative thought. She always has a smile on her face. She uses Alicia to tell me what a model cripple should be and how much I am falling short. But Alicia tells me honestly about how much she struggles too. She cries every day, and she's also afraid when the people she relies on for help are tired or annoyed. She shows me how to manage when the pain gets so bad you can't think. She is my disability guru. At home, I am silent, but a few hundred feet up the block at Alicia's, I never stop talking, even as she's lying in bed getting massaged for her evening walks. Maybe it annoys her, but when I apologize for ranting, she tells me I have nothing to be sorry for. Alicia becomes the closest thing I have to a mom. I feel weird saying that. She didn't ask to be my mom, but she is. Coming to college has been massive, transformative, but I'm nowhere near out of the woods. And not just because I go to school in upstate New York. I start to get panic attacks in sophomore year at the thought of going home. Bard continually refuses to provide the accommodations I need, so I'm forced to rely on those around me. I still avoid asking for help, even though it could prevent me from getting injured. I hate it every time I have to say, "Hey, do you think you could maybe help me carry my laundry?" But I'm learning to do it. I am learning to do so many things. When I call Alicia, she tells me, "I think about you every day." She asks how my life here is going, and I tell her what classes I'm taking, how often I'm crying, who I'm having sex with, currently no one. It's hard to feel cursed when I have her. She's taught me that home isn't the address you have to write down on forms, and family is anything but mere biology. I'm beginning to realize it's my purpose to communicate what it's like, to explain what it is to move through the world inside a body you can't control, with needs you've been taught to be sorry for. I need to let the sick kids know what I wish someone had told me. They are not the problem. Their illness is not the issue. What they are feeling is real. Maybe someday I'll believe it too.